Hello, my name is Momo. I work at City of Tucson Parks and Recreation leisure classes. I teach traditional Japanese metalsmithing classes and color on metal class too. I'm from Japan and I was born and raised in Hokkaido, north part of Japan, and grew up as a dairy farm girl. And I moved to US when I was 17 years old and started working on metalsmith when I was in college. So I studied metalsmithing in university in Illinois and went back to Japan and studied traditional metalsmithing in graduate school there, and came back to the States and started to utilize Western metals technique and Eastern metals techniques together. And here I focus on teaching traditional Japanese metalsmithing because not many Americans can learn these traditional techniques in US, and so I'm bringing various Japanese metals tools and techniques to teach the process. And not just the techniques, but also I teach tool making, because you cannot really get any tools, traditional tools here. So you get to also learn how to make tools and also use tools. Today I'm going to show you the traditional Japanese metal inlay technique, and it'll be a very simple process today because it's a lot of process to show you. But today I'm going to be doing dot inlay and line inlay, and I'm going to be showing some tools that I'll be using, and also at the end how to color this metal in a traditional way. It's called niiro process. So you get to learn how to color the metal as well. So this is a Japanese black pitch inside the pitch ball, and then I have a copper sheet on top. It's already attached, and I think this is a 14 gauge copper, so it's fairly thick. And when you do inlay, you have to make sure it's thick enough sheet, otherwise you might end up poking through the other side. So today I'm going to be using a 20 gauge fine silver wire, which is going to be inlaid in here. So in order to make 20 gauge wire to go inlay in here, you have to have a 20 gauge width of inlay chisel. And for doing the line inlay, you will need the chisel, inlay chisel, and you need Ari Chisel, and you need this push chisel. So you'll be needing 3 chisels to do the inlay, line inlay. I mark straight line in the middle. You can use marker as well if you want. So this is the first line. And then you're going to flip 180 degree. You go another way. And then to check if the channel is deep enough, you make sure you put this wire inside, and then 2/3 of the wire should be under, otherwise it doesn't really stick inside. So I need to go one more time. And then sometimes the bottom of the channel could be uneven, and you want to make sure that's nice and smooth and flat. So when you see the shadows, you can see some areas that are higher than the other. So you want to make sure the bottom of the channel is nice and even. Once the channel is done, you'll be using Ari Chisel. This will create the corner of the inside channel a little bit of depth on the corner, so it'll help the wire to stay. It's kind of like a teeth. So this time you'll be working on the sideways. You'll be inlaying this fine silver wire, 20 gauge. It's been annealed already, so make sure it's annealed. And then the end of the wire is not tapered, so nice and square end, so it's attached to the end of the inlay channel. You'll be using push chisel to push this in. To use the push chisel, I'm going to make a bigger hammer so it'll go in securely. And when you're pushing in, be careful not to push the base metal, which is copper. So I'm pushing only the wire, so it won't make any marks. Otherwise it takes so long to file the surface. And also you have to be careful not to hit the area you already pushed, because your wire is already been work hardened and also smushed. The more you hit the area you already hit, it's going to warp and then start to peel out from the area you just pushed in. So as long as it's not coming out, back out, means it's been inlaid in securely. So you don't want to do too much of checking and touching. So once you get to the end, it should come off very gently and just been inlaid. And right now it's very rough, so you need to use your file to make sure it's really inlaid in. So it's good. It's inlaid. And next I'm going to show you dot inlay. It's going to be quick. So the area, let's say you're gonna do inlay right here. Use the center punch very gently. Tap it. And again, the same 20 gauge drill bits, which is number 68. I use hand drill, and I cut the drill bits shorter, so when you use it, only the tip of the drill bits are sticking out, so you won't end up breaking it. So only this much is coming out. So you'll be drilling halfway. You can see. So be careful not to drill through the metal. And after you drill halfway or so, you can check with your wire, maybe a little bit more. And use the Ari Chisel for dot inlay. You go around the channel. And again, the wire is nice and square on the end. you stick the wire in. And make sure the little bit of wire is sticking out. And you use this push chisel to push in very gently. Kind of let it flare out like this, and again now you see the dot inlay right here. So this is the line inlay and dot inlay. Once you finish your design, you start with coarse file to start filing and make it even, and you're going to go up to all the way up to fine file. And then you can use stones or sandpaper, or however you prefer to go up to, let's say 1,000 to 2,000, or however you want to finish your piece. And I have this sample here I already finished, so you can see. So this piece, same copper, and I used several different size of wire, and so I'll use this to color the Niiro technique on this, so you can see how this silver and copper piece gonna show. I have this twisted wire inlay here, which I used gold, 24 karat gold, and shakudo, which is I think 2% gold and copper alloy. And this one I wanted to show actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different metal in here. Looks like it's just silver on top and then copper, but for Japanese inlay we use a lot of copper alloy. And on the top has, this one is 950 sterling silver, and then the next one is 25% silver with copper shibuichi, and the next one is 10% silver, copper shibuichi, kuro shibuichi, and then the next one is 5% silver with copper, and the last one is shakudo, which is 2% gold with copper. So I want to use these two to show you how this will turn in the Niiro process.